Good afternoon. Yeah, on mute. Okay, good. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Give us your name and DOC number, please.
C Judice 493-087.
All right, Mr. Janice, my name is Pearl Wise. To my left is Mr. Roche. To my right is Mr. Freeman. We comprise your panel this afternoon. Let me explain the process. We're going to read some information in the record, and afterwards we're going to conduct an interview with you, starting with Mr. Freeman. He was assigned your case. After the interview, we're going to ask the warden for his comments, anything he want to say. We have some visitors today in support. I'm gonna go ahead and call them out at this time. We have Miss. I'm going to chop this name up. I know I ain't got this right. Your family friend, Amy Bipey. They're not going to be speaking. And you have another friend, Glenn Burnett. In support, he's going to be speaking. And you have Rayanne Burnett with Glenn in support, and she's not speaking. And there is the victim's daughter, who does not want to be on camera, does not want to be viewed, is also present. And she will be speaking. So at the appropriate time, after we get all that testimony, once all the testimony has been received, you'll make the final statement, tell us whatever you want us to know, and then we'll render a decision. Can you understand the process?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me go ahead and read the information, because you've been through this before. We read the information into the record. Okay, your name is Jude C. Judice. Your DOC number is 493087. You were sentenced on February 16th of 2005 on forcible rape. You were sentenced to 20 years. Your parole eligibility date is August 8th of 2021. You do not earn good time. And your full term date is August 6th of 2024. Does that sound about right, sir?
That's right. Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Pearl, he does want to correct you on how to pronounce his last name, though. He's
Okay, tell me, because I
Judice.
he's too timid to interrupt you, but he wants to give you the correct pronunciation.
It's Judice.
no, go ahead. Huh? Say it again.
And however you like.
No, tell him what you said.
It's Judice.
Judice. Okay, Judice.
Judice.
Okay. I have a better chance with Jude, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Judice, how old are you?
I'm 47 as of yesterday.
Okay, happy birthday.
Thank you.
How many years have you served on this 20-year portion of your sentence?
I'm 3 months shy of 19.
3 months. Okay.
Yeah.
And when you complete this sentence, you're going to be on 5-year supervised probation. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you'll be backing another 20 years if you were to violate that probation.
Correct.
Okay. All right, Mr. Judice, I read your arrest report, but tell me what was going through your mind? What happened that night?
Oh, Lord. Well, it was a lot of the same in that relationship, a lot of arguing. It was very toxic, a lot of love at sometimes, a lot of toxicity at others. And the only thing that was different on this night was she would call me sometimes and say we were through. She'd go out to a nightclub with 2 of her friends. Well, this night I said, I'll go out too, and not with her, just with a friend of mine. And by the time him and I came home to his apartment, he told me, he said, now you got to leave when I go to work in the morning, because his apartment you had to lock from the outside with a key. And I said, man, I'm not getting up that early. I said, look, I'm just going to go home because she'll probably be calling me anyway. He was familiar with how our relationship was. And so as I went home, I was living at her house. We were redoing the floors at my home. And I'd been staying there for quite some time. And as I got there, there was a white pickup truck there, Ford extended cab, unfamiliar to me. Well, it was the only vehicle there. There was, all the lights were off except a light in the bedroom. Well, I called my dispatcher, and I wasn't working, but I called my dispatcher and asked her to run the license plate just to see who this was. And it came back as a truck for an oil field company, and that was it. So I tell her, I said, well, let me get out and see what's going on. And right before we hung up, I told her, I said, oh God, I hope she's not cheating on me. And she said, oh, Jude, please be careful and call me as soon as you find something out. So I got out, I went to the door. It was locked. I walked, no, take that back. I walked to the window first that had the light on, looked in. That's when I saw her. I could see through the window. We had sheer drapes on the windows. I saw her in that window with a guy on top of her. I went to the door, tried to unlock it. The deadbolt was locked. We never locked the deadbolt. You have to use a key for that deadbolt. So I backed up, broke the door in, ran in. When I went through the bedroom door, the guy jumps off of her on the opposite side of the bed from me. He starts coming around. Now, even in the police recording, she called my phone and it answered in my pocket. They can hear me telling the guy to stay back. I said, stay back a number of times. He came at me. I pushed him back by the throat. He came at me again. I hit him. He fell back and caught the bedpost. And after he came at me the third time, I kind of blacked out at that point and just started fighting. And I came to when she said, Jude, I'm bleeding. Now, she was on the bed when all this started to my left. When I came to from what she said, she was on the right side on the floor with blood in her hair. And we argued back and forth. I was trying to find out who he was. We fight a little bit, fight, and he ended up leaving at, I'm not exactly sure of the time frame, it was so long ago, but he ended up leaving. I came back to she was in the bedroom. I came back to the bedroom after he left. We argued more and more. I mean, it was just chaotic for a while. At some point, we went into the living room and we were talking there. She's still undressed at this time. I'm crying on the floor. She kneels down in front of me, and again, this is a long time ago. I'm trying to remember exactly how this went on. At some point, we started kissing. Then we started having sex. I know that probably sounds sick, but that's how this relationship was. And it was one of those things where I think I was trying to salvage something that I knew was over inevitably. And it just that didn't last long. That went on for maybe, I don't know. It was relatively quick. At that point, I got up. She got up and went to the bathroom, I think. I started picking up because I broke the door in. So I started picking that up, picking up glass. There was glass all over from French doors that were broken in the house. Broken armoire to pieces. I mean, we were cleaning. I was cleaning. And I guess we'd argue back and forth. This went on probably from, I would say 2:30 or 3 in the morning until, I stayed there till 9 o'clock the next night. From just talking, sleeping, after I cleaned up the place and repaired the door. And we talked about calling the police because she got beat up pretty bad. And I believe in a deposition, she said she got the most of the beating from jumping between me and the guy. And I had no idea she was in between us. I found out later on they'd been together for 10 years. And apparently with her ex-husband as well. So it was one of those things that, I thought I had something with somebody, and it was total opposite. And it was heartbreaking. And as for the allegations, a lot of the charges, some were dropped. I was charged with aggravated kidnapping, that wasn't the case. Aggravated burglary, but that was changed because I lived in that home. So that was the only, well, no, take that back. Later on, I fixed her something to eat. We were sitting on the couch. She had her feet in my lap. God, this is embarrassing to say. She ended up using her feet in a sexual manner on me to the point of ejaculation. And that was only 2 times that happened in that night.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let's move on a little bit.
Okay.
When you kicked in that door, did you spray them with mace?
No,
First went to bedroom.
I don't believe so, but
What about, did you use your nightstick?
wait, repeat that part about the nightstick. You kind of cut out in the first.
Nightstick to beat Mr. Kevin with?
I think I hit him with something on his arm. That's the only time I used something, when he did something. I hit his arm, and I think that's what broke his arm.
And you did clean up the house, wash the clothes, fix the door, and try to pick up some of the stuff that was broken, correct?
I didn't wash clothes, but I did pick up all the debris. Yes.
So there was a pretty good little skirmish that went on in that,
Oh,
that
it
that
was.
house.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Looking at law enforcement, you have the judge didn't make a comment. The district attorney is opposed. The sheriff is opposed. The family, your brother is unopposed. And the victim will make a statement later. The victim's daughter. Was there a no contact order in place?
No, sir. At the time that this happened?
Yes.
Oh, no, sir.
Okay.
And can I say too that there was a comment made, I believe, that was put in the Lafayette paper about I was a former boyfriend. We were never engaged to be married, and I have a deposition from one of her exes that she was having sex with that said, no, absolutely, they were engaged. She said I was getting undressed in their bathroom, about to have sex with her, and she said, hey, look, I just got engaged, and showed them the ring. So there was no contact order, or I wasn't a former boyfriend. You know, I'm not trying to put blame on anybody else. I have enough blame to share for everyone in this room. There's a lot of things from depositions that you may or may not have, I don't know, but that the police report doesn't show. So I understand I'm the one at fault. But at the same time, there was a lot of things that were said that didn't actually happen. And even the detective that was over the case, you know, she started taking my side towards the end, and she realized, she said, man, there's a lot of things wrong with this case that I'm starting to see. She said, I thought you were lying in the beginning. She said, but I'm starting to believe you now. You know, and to the point of she was in a bond hearing with me, rubbing my shoulders when I was crying because they wouldn't reduce my bond. And I came in here not wanting to even say that. That's because that's not why I'm here. I'm here to just, my record shows I try to do as best as I can. I stayed here these 19 years and no write-ups, you know, but trust me, believe me, when I say I'm sorry, I am sorry. If I could take it back, I would. I mean, I can't. There's nothing else I can do except move on and try to do better. But
Okay. Let me ask you this. I've seen you taking some classes.
yes, sir.
You took Living in Balance 1 and 2. You had a drinking
That's right.
problem back then?
No, sir.
I mean,
No, just taking classes to better myself for the possibility of getting out.
Okay, and you've taken all of your sex offender treatment?
Yes, sir. 1 through 4.
What did you learn from sex offender treatment?
Cool. There's a lot going on in a relationship or just having sex that you need to be aware of, and you know, if things look questionable, just stop and don't push the issue. You know, I think it's I've said things in the last. I was kind of glad when I saw Ms. Wise was going to be here again, because on the first time when I came up, you had asked me some questions, and in those 2 years that I've been here to think about it, and the CADFs over M formula they give, I think D is developmentally delayed or impaired, and within the last 2 years, I realized, you know, yeah, that does put me at fault, because she wasn't in a state to even learn. And it's unfortunate to have to admit that, but it's true. You know, I can't change it though. You know, it's
How long were you in law enforcement?
I got arrested when I was 28, on and off since I was 18. It was just not enough money for me. I'd go back to oil field work or make money, and I'd go back into law enforcement. Wasn't an issue with being a law enforcement officer, it was just money for me. I had too many hobbies.
Okay, okay, see your estate, all that's in here. What's your transition plan? Where you gonna live?
When I get out, I will probably live with my mom. She's having some very serious memory issues now. I think she has Alzheimer's, and so she's eager for me to go back and live with her. And from there, I'll probably work for my cousins at the sugarcane farm. It's about 3 miles down the road from my house, so it's a short commute. I can go back and forth there easily.
Okay, I have no further questions.
Okay. Mr. O'Shea?
No.
I have a few questions. Sir, what did you learn in victim awareness that you didn't know?
That there's more than one victim. That's something that I've struggled with for 19 years. You know, it's not only the victims, it's their friends and family, my friends and family, the state even, you know. There's a lot of people that were involved, the police department, people that didn't have a hand in it that suffered from it, you know, and it's because of me, you know, it's because of my choices that I made that night. And that's something that I literally, if I wish you could see inside my brain to see how many nights I lay there and thought, I can't believe I allowed myself to do that and to hurt so many people in the process. That's one thing I know from that class for sure.
Good, good. Now, there was a statement that said that during the court process, threatened to behead the victim's family. Do you remember saying that?
No, ma'am, I do not remember saying that at all.
And you did, the other question I had was y'all relationship, but you've already cleared it up about the Beyonce and all that. So
Yeah.
you all were actually living at the same place when this happened?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Because in the police report, all of her statements were my ex-boyfriend, my
Right.
ex-boyfriend, my ex-boyfriend.
That's
And
right.
that was concerned because you called her fiance and y'all very much in a
That's right.
committed relationship.
That's right.
She's a little older than you, right?
3 years, yes, ma'am.
Yes, she's older than you, okay. And so now your job, you're a barber now in the prison. Is that your job now?
No, No, I'm an orderly, not a barber. That's on the paperwork, but no, ma'am. I just clean
Oh.
up the building I live in. Yes, ma'am.
That's the way the jobs are classified by the prison enterprise incentive wage. They're barbers, orderlies, they're all listed together, Ms. Wise.
Okay, thank you okay, thank you. And then you also took a class called Nonviolent Conflict Resolution. Tell me what you learned in that one.
Yes. It just gives you a way to really stop and think, learn to take time, take a breath, count to 10, decide if it's worth losing what you have over, the issue that's in front of you. And trust me, I've used it here quite a few times.
Yep, yeah, the disciplinary record proves that out, I tell you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Nowhere near.
Okay, Warren, is there anything you want to tell us at this time?
Well, the record speaks for itself. Ms. Wise, Jude's been here since 2005. I would refer you to the comments Colonel Tolliver made in his work evaluation. He had a really good work evaluation. He's participated in every program that's been available to him. He has lived in the protective custody unit, so he was somewhat limited in some of the programming he could take, but every time a program became available, he took it and successfully completed them. He's got a remarkable institutional record. He's had that one low court write-up in the 18 years he's been here, and I think that was like 2000. That was early into his incarceration. So he hasn't been an issue or a problem at this institution whatsoever during the 18 years he's been here. That's why.
Right, thank you so much. At this time, we're gonna hear from your supporters. Glenn Burnett, Mr. Glenn, what would you like us to know?
Muted.
You're muted, sir.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I've known Jude for many years, and I can tell you that I believe I'm a pretty good judge of character, and I can tell you Jude's character is remarkable. He's a good guy. He wants to do right. He had a very misfortunate incident that occurred in his past, but he's still the kind of guy that wants to do the right thing. He's the guy that follows the rules. And if he needs, I'm a self-employed. I have a successful small business, and if need be, I'd put him to work. I'd let him live in my home. And I can't say enough about this man's character, and there need to be more men like him. Excluded that one incident, he's led a really, really good life. Even where he's at and the contact I've had with him there, we stay in touch, and he's just, he's a joy to talk to be around. And I pray that y'all gonna see that in the conversations you've had with him and the paperwork in front of you, and that you would give this man another chance. He's about a year and a half from getting out full time, and to get out early, like he said, his mother is not doing well, and he wants to go home and try to be there for her and, be a good son. He's a great brother. I've talked to his brother a couple of times, and I know to me, he's a really good friend, and I can't say enough about him. And I'm just going to be brief, and I'll just end it at that. He's just a good guy, and his character is remarkable.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your comments.
Thank
and your
you.
wife was nodding, so she confirmed.
Yes, she did.
Yes, I do. All right, thank you. At this time, we'll hear from Ms. Madison in opposition. Ms. Madison, would you unmute and tell us what you want us to know?
Yes, ma'am. How are you?
Good. Thanks for asking.
Good. So during this whole hearing, just seeing Jude's face, him laughing and smiling, it just brought back a lot of emotions. I have been thinking of this day for 18 years. My mother is especially traumatized from this. She could not attend today. And my mother did, in fact, break the engagement off with him, and she did start seeing her ex. And he did, in fact, state that he would behead my whole family during the court hearing. We have had many treatments regarding this incident. I am in and out of therapy, as well as my mom. She cannot keep a stable job. She is physically and emotionally traumatized and will be for the rest of her life. I now have 2 children, and I feel fear for our lives once he gets out. I cannot forgive him, and it's not because of hate. I pray for Jude every single day. But at this time, I cannot see him being free. I cannot fathom the fact that he would be able to be released.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your comments, and I appreciate you being here. Appreciate all
Thank
the
you.
courage.
Excuse me.
Keep taking care of yourself. All right, Mr. Jude, what do you want us to know?
I'm certain that there was no breaking off of an engagement at all. In fact, to go back, when I left at 9 o'clock that night, I drove my truck around to the front of the house. And when I got in front, there was something still outside, so I went to bring it in. And when I walked in, she was standing in the living room looking at the ring on her hand. And I said to her, you know, this can never happen.
But they want you to make your final statement. This is
Oh,
what
okay,
they're
okay.
talking about. You
Well-
went off into something that.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm
You
sorry,
need
I'm
to
sorry.
make Final comment.
Well, I mean, I hate that Madison feels that way. I hate that her family feels that way. If I could change it, like I said before, I would, but I can't. But staying in prison for 1 year and 3 months more isn't gonna make a difference in what's happened. I mean, I can't change that. I mean, if that's what you guys feel I need, if that's what the family feels I need, then so be it. But I mean, that's not what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that because of my record, because of what you've seen with your own eyes, that you do agree to release me. Because I can promise you this will never happen again. I can promise I will never go around that family again. I live 30 miles from where they were living. I don't know where they live now. If you want me to live in North Louisiana, I can stay here. It doesn't matter. I'll relocate. You know, I can visit my mom. I don't have to live with her. I mean, I want to be there for her, but I want to be out so I can work and provide. You know, that's the main thing for me. And, you know, like I said, I mean, I know it probably seems like a lot of time for them, but 1 year and 3 months isn't much. I mean, it's not like it's gonna be that big of a deal to let me out that, you know, that little bit of time early. It just helps me out to be able to provide for my mom. That's the main thing. I know she's not going to a doctor like she needs to go, and it's about money, and it's unfortunate. And again, my heart goes out to him. I've done everything I can to be better, and you know, to put this behind me and to move forward. And it breaks my heart to hear that about them. And I hope one day that they can truly forgive me and move on. And that's really all I can say, because it's just an unfortunate issue in my life that I caused, and I'm sorry about that. And I just hope that you guys see that I am doing what needs to be done. And I can promise you, if you agree to this, it will not happen again. And I just want to get out and be able to provide for my family. That's all.
Thank you for your comments.
And if moving is a possibility and that they're okay with that, that's fine. I'll move.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Panel ready to vote?
Executive session.
We have a motion for executive session. Can I get a second? Second. Roll call, please. Yes. Yes.
Oh man. So Richard did find different documents on this case, but it really doesn't include any detail. There's nothing in it to go through. It's just kind of like, it shows what he was initially tried for, which was attempted murder, attempted and also grape. What their back or
Okay, all right, we'll show that the panel is back in session. It's 12:41. And the panel is ready to vote. Mr. Freeman.
First off, I want to thank the victim's daughter for coming here today and speaking to us. I know it is tough. Ms. Judice, you have done very well in prison. Like you say, you will get out next year no matter what we do today. And I feel that you need to go on and do the other year and 2 months, so my vote is to deny.
Thank you, Mr. Bochet.
Mr. Judice, based upon the violent sexual nature of the offense, express opposition from the DA's office and law enforcement, and in proximity of your vote to date, my vote is to deny your request.
At this point, so you have 2 votes to deny. I concur with my colleagues today, and the victim opposition, they need that time to prepare for being eligible. That you will be released, but you be on supervision. And for the reasons already been stated on the record, my vote is denied as well. Best wishes to you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Hold on one second. Let me see, can I need it?
that's awesome. Oh man, it's so great that they denied him. I thought that maybe they were gonna let him out. They just weren't challenging him really, and he was just like speaking and speaking and speaking and going on, and it was like he wouldn't shut up. And the board was just kind of going with it. I'm like, are they taking him hook, line, and sinker? Because do you realize how ridiculous this sounds? I mean, here it is, a former police officer who smashes down the door of his, and I'll believe it, ex-fiance's wife, ex-fiance, jumps into her room while she's, doing it, beats the crud out of this guy where they actually charge him on attempted murder. Attempted second-degree murder and attempted first-degree murder and aggravated kidnapping and aggravated burglary. You know what? Should we do this hearing and then jump back? Maybe we'll do 2 hearings in one. I'm not sure. We should do this. And he, it was like while he was talking, it was like as if he was trying to rub salt into the wounds of his victims. He's saying that, oh, we started making out and then we were just doing it. And then she were laying down with, and her feet are on my lap. And he actually says, and she ejaculates me with her feet. Dude, this wasn't consensual. Like, what? Oh, it was like, and he just kept going and going, trying to paint himself as like this saint. That nothing went wrong. They were just in a fight. They're at his buddy. He went out drinking. She went out drinking. Then, he said, you know what? I'll just go home. And I got, there was a truck. And so I even called my dispatcher. He's a cop. His dispatcher runs the plates. And then, oh, she must be sleeping with someone else. And then he barges in there, and he's acting as if he had really done nothing wrong. And then he kind of like he blacked out, and the guy wanted him, and he pushed him down. He wanted him again. He pushed him down. He wanted him again. He pushed him down, and then he blacked out, and she was apparently beat up real bad. And it was just her getting in the middle of him. He of course didn't do anything. He didn't hurt her at all. You were sentenced to 20 years plus 15 years probation once you get out, and he's talking as if he's like completely innocent. And it was like classic, like manipulative, narcissistic thing. Very, very scary, because, if I was sitting in a room with him, I'd believe him. But you see enough of these hearings, and you don't. I don't. You listen to the victim's daughter and how traumatized she is, and and I don't believe that man for anything he says. I really don't. And I'm glad the board didn't buy into it at all either. They were kind of just flowing with it, like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. It was a bad interview. They didn't drill in. They didn't drill into the fact that it's like how badly she was hurt, how badly he was hurt. The guy broke his arm, and that's one injury we know of. He used his mace and his nightstick. The daughter says that they were engaged but broken up, and he's like, no, that's not true at all. Even that morning while she was looking at the ring, and it's like, yeah, okay, I don't buy any of it. He literally made it seem like they're living together. And then he brings up that she was cheating on him for 10 years. Okay. He literally took this opportunity with the 30 minutes or so that he had to get out a year and 4 months early, and he made sure that he dragged her through the mud as much as he could. And it was disgusting. He called her a cheater. He called her
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir. Sorry for the delay. We're having some computer difficulties here. Give us your name and your DOC number, please.
Thomas Mays, 724-987.
All right, Mr. Mays, my name is Pearl Wise. To my left is Mr. Roche, and to my right is Mr. Freeman. We comprise your panel this afternoon. Let me explain the process to you. I'm going to read some information in the record. Afterwards, we're going to conduct an interview with you, starting with Mr. Roche. You can sign your case. You have no visitors in opposition or in support. So after the interview, the warden will make his comments, and then you will make the final comments. You tell us whatever you want us to know. You'll render a decision. You understand the process? Okay, let me read the information to the record. Thomas Lynn Mays, DOC number 744987. You're listed as a first offender. You was sentenced as to indecent behavior with a juvenile. You were originally sentenced on August 31st of 2017. It was revoked on July 9th of 2020. And now your total DOC time is listed as 5 years. You have a parole eligibility date of 12/15 of 23. You do not earn good time And your full term date is March 15th of 2025. That sounds about right, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Would you answer Mr. Roche?
Thank you, Mrs. Wise. Yes, Mr. Mays, how are you doing?
Doing good, sir.
Mr. Mays, you're currently 25 years old, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you served about 3 years on this 5-year sentence.
Yes, sir.
So tell me about the programs that you've completed in the last 3 years.
Did reentry and anger management.
Okay. That's the only 2 programs you completed?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so tell me why are you incarcerated right now?
I made a poor decision and I paid the price for it.
Okay, you don't get incarcerated for a poor decision. What did you do?
I got violated for being around my 2 cousins when I was on probation, and they told me that I couldn't be around my own family members unless I go in front of a judge and have the judge sign off for permission for me to be around my family.
And that's exactly right, because you were initially convicted of molestation of a juvenile. The judge gave you a break, suspended the sentence, and put you on supervised probation, and you violated that supervision. Now, I know you went to your parole officer and he went over the sex offender contract with you. So why did you violate?
That I can't tell.
And I state that you gotta be around juveniles. Did it not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, answer this.
Did you know an offender, biological children, he had to get permission from a judge or a parole board to even be around his own children?
I didn't know that until I got locked up, but I do know that now, so.
Have you attempted to enroll in sex offender treatment?
Yes, sir. I finished phase 1, but I didn't test out to go to the next phase yet, so.
He is currently enrolled, Mr. Roche, as of January of 2023. He's currently enrolled, and he's should be getting ready to start phase 2. He's just completed phase 1. I don't know if we updated your records or not, but he is currently enrolled and just completed phase 1.
Outstanding, outstanding. So when will you test out of phase 1?
I can't remember the exact time frame from the time we finished the book and then studied to the point of where it's time for us to test out. I don't know that time frame. I can't remember.
It should be this month, Mr. Roche. He should be able to take that test sometime in the next week or so.
So within the next 6 to 7 months, he should complete all phases 2, 3, and 4.
He certainly could, yes, sir.
Now, let's talk about your disciplinary conduct. On October 31st, 2021, you received a 21C. So tell me, what did you do to receive a 21C?
Have sexual intercourses with another inmate.
And what was the disciplinary action?
Oh, what was that, 6 months? Disciplinary,
You were locked out?
sir?
You were in lockdown for 6 months?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then you got out of lockdown. And then on April 13, 2022, only 13 months ago, you had a contraband. What was contraband?
Ordering pills.
Repeat?
Ordering pills.
Ordering pills.
Yeah,
Ordering.
ordering pills.
Okay. So let me tell you, Mr. Mays, I'm not gonna prolong this hearing. You have a disciplinary write-up, a class of B disciplinary write-up only 13 months ago. You just started your sex offender treatment. I can't vote for you today. Simply because of your disciplinary conduct and you need to complete your sex offender treatment. So I'm gonna deny you today based on those two factors. Why?
Thank you. Warren, is there anything you want to share?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am, the record speaks for itself, Ms. Wise. I think Mr. Roche made a wise decision today.
All right, thank you, sir. Okay, young man, is there anything you want to tell us? You render our decision? Any more comments you want to make? No? Okay. Good. Mr. Freeman, you want to vote?
Yes, ma'am, I concur, Mr. Roger, and I vote to deny.
Okay. My vote is to deny as well for the reasons already stated on the record. Best wishes to you, young man. The vote has been denied.
Thank you.
Who is more unlikable, him or the cop? That's a tough one, right? Both cockroaches in my book. Yeah, you can't be with your cousins. Is it his cousins or his nephews? Cousins. You're a danger. You're a danger. I couldn't find any records on the details of his crime, but I can only imagine it was probably a nightmare. And the judge gave him probation, and yeah, then he violated it. I love that they got him for that. And you know what? It probably wasn't by chance. I think it was a mistake that they said that they somehow caught him with his two cousins, or maybe someone didn't want him with his two cousins. And someone told his parole officer, he's obviously a predator. And he's sitting there saying, I'm only here because I can't be with my two cousins. Just smack him across the face. That's what I wanted to do. No, you're there because you got arrested for doing who knows what to a juvenile. Coward. Cockroach. You know, as soon as he showed up on the screen, I knew also, I was like, oh, this is another cockroach. You can just tell. It's like they have two kinds of looks. Either they look like the classic cockroach look, or they look like they can blend in anywhere. And those are always the most dangerous. The most feared. It's you might only say a miracle that he got caught so young and caught so early, because who knows how many people he's been cockroaching. But that's the scariest kind of predators, because they can blend into a room and you would never know it. Except for his narcissism that basically emanates from him. But back to the police officer, I thought also that guy was a hardcore narcissist, and he thought he was pulling one over. But I also think like he was possibly just taking that opportunity after 19 years to you know, like he was holding in all of that animosity towards his victim, and he was keeping and he couldn't wait to just do everything to muddy her reputation, to say what he wanted to say. You're the one that's been locked up. You're the one that's been locked up for doing those things, for attempted murder, for aggravated RAPE. God forbid I actually say something on this channel that is said anyways 100 times, but the way YouTube works, I just don't understand it anymore. They will literally, they just like shadow ban, shadow block everything you upload. It's like a joke already.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
I'm not done. You know, what the cop did breaking into that house and the terror that he must have put her through, you can still hear it in his daughter's voice, in her daughter's voice. And then he spends his time trying to muddy her reputation. And meanwhile, you hear they're still traumatized. And when you think about it, it's just mind-boggling that he's going to be free in basically a year and a few months. And I love that they just like said, you know what, you have to serve all your time. And in his speech, he's like, what's it going to do? What's it going to do for me if I just get out 1 year and a few months early? Like, come on. Like, yeah, how about that's a year and a few months that they can actually sleep okay at night? Yeah, you got to serve all 20 years of your sentence. Oh, it was amazing. It's very rare that you see someone serve all 20 years. And it must be that it's because he continues to take this like strange nonchalant approach to his crime. And he does it in such like a jovial way, like, so it's just nothing was going on. You totally understand. I was walking in and then she started, masturbating me with her feet until I ejaculated. I don't know. I'm just irresistible. And it's like, what? We're having a parole hearing because you were locked up for attempted first degree, second degree, and aggravated, and that's what you're trying to say? Take accountability for what you did, dude. You're a scary dude. You brought fear and terror down on this family. You could still hear it in his daughter's voice, not even in her voice. She couldn't show up today. And you're talking about it like it was just some random day. And you're the victim. He was talking about it as if he was the victim. He was just defending himself. He doesn't know she got hurt. Must have been because she was getting in the way. He blacked out. It was all these years ago. It's funny. He had the whole story and detail to detail of what happened until it came to her getting hurt. Oh, she was still naked, just walking. Hey, we're hanging out downstairs. I just beat up the guy she was with, but she's got all beaten up, but we're just hanging out downstairs. She was naked. I'm like, yeah, okay, dude. He's scary. Him and the juvenile guy, they should be maybe they were the ones that were doing it in the prison, huh? Kidding. But they would be great soulmates. They deserve each other. such, and you know, I don't know why Judge. I'm going back to the juvenile character. I don't know why judges give these light sentences. He got 5 years commuted sentence, and he violates. He'll be out soon. He's scary. He scares me, man. Why are you here? Oh, because I hung out with my cousins. Yeah, no. And it's like, you're here because of the juvenile charge. And he was like, oh. Scary stuff. I wish I could pull some information on the case on that case, but there really often is just never is anything on it. And just because it's never a news story. It's just like another thing, another day. So with that, I'll let you go.